What's happening, guys? Matt Martin is back again. It has been a while. I say life is not an easy thing, but we're trying our best out here. Anyway, guys, moving on very swiftly. We are back. New vids. Got some new fragrances from ZARA. Obviously, all been released. I'm going to do a video pretty much going over all of the new releases that have come out from what I've smelled so far. But today's video, without further ado, guys, after the hiatus, touching base with you in respect of this fragrance, one of the newest releases from ZARA. You can see it says warm black. What does that mean? We will find out. So it seems to say on the front, for those that don't know, this came in at $9.99 $10.99 in the UK. Don't know how it is in euros, but most likely it's probably cheaper. Inspired by colors that differ only slightly from pure black shades of black fragrances, suggest formality, dignity, solemnity through their ginger, tobacco, and vanilla notes. Ginger, tobacco, and vanilla notes. What does that suggest, guys? What does that suggest? And just looking at the note breakdown, which does appear to be on the back, I see a lot of these fragrances now, they're obviously, when you go in the stores, guys, you can't necessarily spray them on yourself. So this is ultimately saying that it's an Oriental. This is according to ZARA's website right now. So Oriental Eau de Toilette fragrance pyramid reveals notes of ginger, vanilla, and tonka bean. It's a warm, intense, and long-lasting fragrance. So, guys, when it comes to long-lasting fragrances, what do we know about long-lasting fragrances from ZARA? Many a time it says that, and many a time that is not the case. So I'm just going to open this for you now. I have had a smell of this one already, guys, and I do know what my thoughts are on it. But nonetheless, quick unboxing for you. As you can see, nothing special, nothing spectacular. I think they've changed the box slightly so people can't open them in the stores. In there, there's nothing to come out. And here is the box, guys. Here is the box. Warm black. Now, let's get that out of the way. Warm black. Now, I think when you put this down, you can see like when it's light on the bottom, it seems like it sort of heats up like it's a ginger. But there we go, guys. Warm black. Sprays are going back to the type of old school sort of sprays that they had. It's nothing. It's all plastic, guys. It seems to be one of these $10.99 bottles, so don't expect too much. Is what it is. Some code information on the bottom. Nothing spectacular. And here we go. Now, to me, guys, I want to say I've smelled something like this before. I suspect I have. But ultimately, what does this smell like? So, I'm getting this blasted, this type of, how could I say, like a cherry note. I'm getting this tobacco, which is actually quite prominent, spicy tobacco. Again, it's talking about vanilla, so vanilla's in there as well. I want to say this like maybe some cinnamon in there. Maybe, I mean, it's saying this tonka, so maybe the sweetness is coming from the tonka. It says it's ginger on the note pyramid according to ZARA's website. For me, I'm thinking I'm smelling cinnamon, tonka. I'm thinking cedar as well, maybe in the base. This is a strong fragrance, guys. This is definitely a winter fragrance, excuse me. Definitely a winter fragrance. It's not one that I would necessarily be wearing in the summertime. Right about now, it's relatively warm. But it's definitely not one I would be wearing in the summertime. This, guys, ultimately smells to me like Tom Ford Tobacco Vanille, Spice Bomb Extreme, and we're touching into Pure Havana, Terry Mugler. Now, I know that ZARA has released previously a tobacco collection type of fragrance. And again, it seems to be that there's no, on the note pyramid, it doesn't mention anything about tobacco. But to me, in my opinion, guys, there is tobacco in this. I think you would struggle to not smell it. Again, so if you imagine Tom Ford with the creaminess, obviously this isn't niche, but if you imagine the creaminess of Tom Ford, as I say, you're getting that in there. There's a little bit of this creaminess going in there compared to maybe they've done previously. I don't know if this is necessarily exactly the same juice as what ZARA's released previously in the tobacco collection. It probably may as well be. Most likely that's what it is. But nonetheless, it seems to be a cheaper type of bottle. I will do a comparison video, but I'm getting this type of creaminess, guys. As I say, I'm picking up with this creamy tobacco. If you imagine like a pipe smoke sort of smell coming off there, and again with this type of sweetness which is coming from the tonka bean and the vanilla, and again I'm picking up on a cherry note. I'm personally picking up on a cherry note. If you imagine CK1 Shock or CK Shock, that type of, not Coca-Cola vibe, but a little bit of that type of like fizzy vibe going on as well. I don't think there's bergamot in this, so I don't think it's as bright and fizzy, but it smells to me definitely is a strong tobacco fragrance, guys. Strong tobacco fragrance, again, with this sort of I say this hint of this sweetness which is coming from the tonka bean and the vanilla, and I think it's actually a well done fragrance, guys. To be honest, I know this is ZARA, I know this is only $10.99, but this is actually I don't even necessarily say beast mode because I've not had it yet long enough to know that. But from what I've smelled in the shop compared to now, this has definitely lasted longer than the 10 minutes I've been in the shop for, and the 15-20 minutes walking around, and I'm still smelling it on my skin. So ultimately, guys, for $10.99, this is definitely not a bad fragrance. And if fragrances in ZARA's collection happen to be niche, me personally, I would put this in that particular category of niche fragrances for ZARA. This is actually quite a good fragrance, guys. It's well composed. It could potentially appear to be a slightly more of a mature man's type of fragrance, older man's fragrance. It's definitely a winter fragrance, guys. It's actually quite heavy. And when I say heavy, it's not necessarily that it's, how could I say, very rich in its complexity. It's more just smells like it's just got quite a lot of, as I say, this sort of tobacco note in there. So this is not necessarily a young man's fragrance is what I would say. Compared to the other ones that have been released, this is definitely not a young man's fragrance. I would say, guys, it's probably more sort of, again, real gentleman's fragrance, maybe old school type of fragrance. Not bad at all for $10.99. I'll definitely get a smell of this one, guys. If you don't like tobacco fragrances, this may not be for you, because again, you do get this type of tobacco note. And again, if it reminds me of, I say, like a middle-aged sort of gentleman. I don't know who would be classed as middle-aged in this day and age, but that's what's coming to my mind. But for me, guys, it's a good fragrance. I'm keeping this bottle. Don't intend to get rid of it. It's going to last on my shelf. Will I wear this in the summertime, wintertime? I don't know. It's not as spicy to me from what I pick up as Spice from Extreme. That seems to be slightly more along the sort of like pink pepper sort of note coming out there with the cinnamon and everything else like that. Slightly borderline gourmandish even. If I was to compare this one with, say, Tom Ford as well, Tom Ford's obviously slightly, a lot more different. It's not exactly the same thing. You get what you pay for. But for me, guys, as a fragrance goes from ZARA, this is not a bad pickup. 12 hours later, guys, I will do a review on it, so by all means, go and check that one out. But for what this one is, though, guys, I think this is a good fragrance. So please do not forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Next video, guys, we have Night Put On 5, and we also have Vibrant Brown coming as well. So I will do a review on those, and then I'm going to do a roundup video of all of the new fragrances that have been released from ZARA's current line of summer fragrances. But this is not a bad pickup, guys, so I will do a comparison with this one and some of the tobacco fragrance, which I believe is a slight comparison, but we'll see. Ciao.